This teaching is on great-hearted, open-heartedness. When we say the word compassion in English, we hear an element of pity in that word, an element of top-down. If I have compassion for someone, it's someone below me on some level. So that's not the right word for the Tibetan meaning. The Tibetan meaning is nying. Ning is heart. Ji is greatest, biggest, most superlative. Big-hearted, great-hearted, open-minded, open-hearted. All of these are better translations for Ningji. If you practice Vajrayana, Bodhichitta and Guru Yoga are at the heart of it. Bodhichitta is Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga is Bodhichitta. When you take refuge in all Buddhas of the four times, what do you think all Buddhas of the four times are made of? Sentient beings. Of the past, present, and future, all beings have Buddha nature within them, like you. As such, that Buddha nature is actualized somewhere in the time stream. Therefore, all Buddhas of the four times, which is the essence of lineage, which is the essence of your teacher, is also the essence of all sentient beings, all life. This is symbolized by Sambhogakaya nature of mind, the innate, aware, lucid, luminous, awake, aliveness of the infinite, vast, indescribable, unnameable Dharmakaya nature of mind. This infinite vastness, which is your own true nature, which is unlimited by thoughts, such as center or edge, here or there, now or then. Those be thoughts, you think them. Those are words. Words are thoughts. You think words. In whatever language. Beyond the limitations of thought and word, infinite openness is awake and aware. If it were not, it could not create the infinite dance of phenomena, stuff. Since it can, obviously it does. You can see phenomena, perceive phenomena. You interact with phenomena, you are phenomena. So obviously it's there. Arising in emptiness, openness, vastness, dissolving in infinite, open, empty vastness. How can this be? Because of the inherent clear light nature of infinite openness, it is aware. Light by which the seer sees is the awareness of Dharmakaya nature of mind. Great mother ocean of Dharmakaya from which everything springs, into which everything dissolves. Many people miss that innate, luminous, lucid vitality, which is inherent to the emptiness, and they perceive void. Big, dark, black space. Oops. That's a distinct oops. You're missing it. Why are you missing it? Because the method of Ningji, open-hearted, great-heartedness, is not strong enough in your perception. For that method, that nying leads directly to the perception of the innate shared vitality of all life. So today's practice is a method for you coming face to face with the innate clear light nature of your own mind, its brilliance, its luminous lucidity, its vitality, its awake awareness. It's not just openness, it's open awareness. It's not just emptiness, it's lucid emptiness. So for that reason, in Vajrayana, there is a very excellent, a most excellent method for coming directly face to face with this so that you don't miss it and get stuck in some kind of nihilistic void, which is a big oopsie and scary too. You know, you're meditating and you see the vastness of it, the spaciousness of it, the sheer emptiness of it, and you go, eek! And you stop meditating? Yeah, well, that's because you missed something. You missed this. So this is a very simple method. To perform this method, you need a mala. Let me see the malas. Making sure everybody's got a mala. Is there anybody who doesn't have a mala? Making sure, do you all have a mala? If you don't have a mala, I'll give you a mala. Okay. So there are two parts to this. And this meditation is often done while walking. It can be a sitting meditation, but most people enjoy it as a walking meditation while circumambulating clockwise some actual or imagined PowerPoint. So we are at the lake because it's an actual PowerPoint that we can circumambulate clockwise. And when it comes after I have taught you the visualization, I'm going to ask you to take an inner kora around the lake and come back to me here. Make sense? So the visualization is actually fairly simple. Are you familiar with 1,000-arm Chenrezig? 11 heads, 1,000 arms, an eyeball in each palm. If you are not familiar with this, please Google it tonight. There are many beautiful images on the internet of 1,000-armed Avalokiteshvara is the Sanskrit name. There is a mantra that goes with this image. This image is symbolic. There's a story of the symbolism. At one time, Avalokiteshvara, Chenrezig in Tibetan, was a disciple of the Buddha. He's actually the one who gave the words of the Heart Sutra. Do you all know the Heart Sutra? You've read it at some point. Those words were actually said by Avalokiteshvara, not by Gautama. He was known among the disciples of the Buddha for being the most great-hearted, open-hearted one, the one with the most loving kindness. And just as, I think it was Jampalchini, was known as being the one with the most questions. They all had personalities just like you do. And they all had Buddha nature, just like you do. So in this instance, There was a stairway. At one time, during the time of the Buddha's life, Avalokiteshvara took a vow to empty the hell realms of sentient beings. And so he went there to the hell realms and labored long and long. This is dreamtime work, so time is different there. You can spend eons and come back a minute later. He labored eons and eons, emptying the hell realms of sentient beings, until finally, after long and long, he succeeded at this. And hell was empty, and no one suffered in the cold and the heat. And at that time, he leaned back on a rock, wiped his brow, and looked up from his labors. Phew, that was a big one. And on looking up, he saw, like a blizzard of snow, sentient beings falling back into the hells due to their errors of judgment. Oops. And it broke him. He threw himself onto the rocks and shattered into 1,000 pieces. At that point, Tara came to him and reached out a hand to him and said, "It's all right, brother, you're not alone, I'll help you." And at the same time, the blessing of his guru shone forth upon him, and he was healed. But instead of arising in four-armed form, as he had been, he arose with 1,000 arms, with an eye in each palm, to assist simultaneously to offer a hand of friendship to 1,000 beings at once. This is the archetype that we are working with, the symbolic image of an energy of great-hearted open-heartedness which exists in the universal unconscious and which can be called forth using symbols. And when you look at this image, it is full of symbols that work below your conscious level, calling forth the energy. This practice, this visualization is very simple. First, I want you to remember, how many of you have had children? Those of you who have had children, I want you to remember your baby. Few months old, just when it's starting to sleep through the night, before it's crawling around and getting into everything, there's a sweet spot there. Remember your baby in that little sweet spot, reaches up its hand and touches your face. Remember the feeling in your heart at that point. Those of you who have not had a child, perhaps you have raised a puppy, a kitten, a hamster, a horse, something that you have loved in that way. Some little being that looks up into your eyes with big eyes and touches you, licks your nose, trusts you implicitly, and you feel your heart opening and melting. Do you know that feeling? Somewhere in your life you have felt that. Remember this feeling, this sensation of, When Tibetans see a puppy or a kitten, they exclaim automatically, "Ninji!" Heart melting, heart opening. So in this way, remember this feeling. In your heart chakra, which is not up here, it's down here in your solar plexus, where the apical pulse is found, there is a closed lotus bud. It has 1,000 petals, although you wouldn't know it because it's just a bud. You're going to water this lotus bud with that feeling so that it softens and melts and is safe and can bloom. Your lotus is closed because you're afraid. After middle school, who isn't afraid of being kicked in the heart? So with this fear that someone will be mean to you, you hold yourself closed to the universe. Let the feeling water your lotus bud. Let it open and bloom. As it opens, fully opens, 1,000 petals. In the middle is the seed syllable Kri. Around it clockwise, turning on the inner petals, which are not white. The inner petals are colored, red, yellow, green, blue, and that is turning. And on it is the mantra Om Mani, Om, Ma, Ni, Pad, Me, Hung, 6 syllables, with a tree standing in the middle. So the inner 6 petals, just like when you look at a flower, there's the stamens in the center, and then there's some little petals around it a lot of times before you have the main petals. So in this lotus, those inner petals are colored. The rest are white. So the inner petals turn, and the outer petals elongate into rays of light. And each of the 1,000 petals reaches out as a ray of light and touches the lotus bud in the heart of a living being. When your lotus is fully bloomed and doing this, you turn from yourself into the 1,000-armed Chenrezig. That's what you look like. But don't pay so much attention to what you look like. Pay attention to the rays of light going out. And through those rays of light flows this feeling of nying, of open-heartedness, of great-heartedness. And flowing through there, it waters the lotus bud of 1,000 living beings, birds and bugs and fish, all of them. And so their lotuses open and bloom, just like yours, reaching out, each one of them with 1,000 petals to 1,000 living beings, with the flow of light, the light of love, of Jampal, of great-hearted open-heartedness. And so those 1,000 beings, lotus buds bloom and open up to touch the hearts of 1,000 living beings. And this reaches across all of space and all of time. It reaches into your biome, the bugs that live in your gut and on your skin. It reaches to the birds and the bugs on those. The universe is so full of life, if you look carefully. And each one proliferating, thousands upon thousands. Each time it's multiplied by 1,000. Rays of light reaching out. And as they completely bloom, they turn into the form of Avalokiteshvara Chenrezig also. But don't focus so much on their shape. It's just a symbol. Focus on the light. So many rays of light, lines of light, that the universe is simply solid with light. And all the beings, all the little Chenrezigs, made of light, dissolve into the light. And the universe is nothing but pure, clear light. If you can, reach out in all the 9 dimensions, 9 local dimensions. Reach into the past. Let the blessing touch your past self. your past enemies, friends, family, ancestors, strangers. Reach out in the future. Let the blessing touch next and next and next to infinity lives of all sentient beings. Reach out in the west, the east, the north, the south, the up, the down. Include other planets, macro and microcosmic. Reach out through the dream time. As far as your imagination extends. Dharmata, Svabhavakaya extends. Filled with pure, clear light. And while you are visualizing this, you say the mantra. Repeat after me. Om.
Om.
Mani.
Mani.
Padme.
Padme.
Hong.
Om.
Om Mani.
Om Mani.
Padme Hong.
Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hong.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
The mantra has meaning. Om refers to the realm of form. Mani refers to the most precious. Ngatata Chizogandu. Kiring de gana de indicate. Chidemade. Tini shusho. Shuma de bomba nalo le mani ribuya. This is Mother Wangmo. She speaks a little bit of English, so might understand. Do you understand the instructions? Have you ever seen at a fair or somewhere where there's a rainbow wheel with spokes of many colors, and you turn it really, really fast, and so it looks white? Think of the inner petals like that. Not that they're turning that fast, but that the rainbow color light generates the clear light. The mani refers to most precious. It literally means jewel, but in Tibetan that's a euphemism for most precious object, fulfillment of all wishes, wish-fulfilling jewel, absolute satisfaction, the total joy of the ending of angst. Do you understand? Padme refers to primordial purity. It means lotus. A lotus grows in the muck, but arises pure, and even if you splash muddy water on the lotus, nonetheless it remains pure. The water just falls off. Om, form. Most superlative, most precious Mani. Lotus, Padme. Hong, mind, heart. The mind of all Buddhas. The most precious aspect of form is its primordial purity as it arises as mind, in mind, dissolves into mind. This is so of all Buddhas, which arise out of all beings. This is what you're saying symbolically. Do you understand? Go do a Kora and do the practice and come back. Shoo. Many. Are there any questions on this practice? Yes.
So sometimes it's like very easy to practice this practice.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, depending on the mood, it's just like a stone in there or a hard nut.
That's the time when you really need it.
But it's like, do you like crack it? Do you melt it?
No, you just think of kittens. Just think about kittens and puppies. Try to bring the memory and do the visualization. It may take a couple of run-throughs, but that's when you really need it. And yet that happens. Especially if you read the news. Don't forget to include Trump. He's a sentient being, a particularly confused one. He doesn't mean to be evil. He's just an idiot. Poor thing. Other questions on this practice? Yes, would you come where I can see you without hurting my neck?
Sometimes this mantra is Om Mani Padme Hum Hi.
Yes.
What's the difference? Do they have different times, different uses, etc.?
As you feel.
Okay.
The Shri is the seed syllable in the middle. It's good to do it out loud, and it's good to do it as singing. Any tune. Make it up as you go along. Sing. Every living being that hears you receives a blessing. Are there other questions?
Yes. Is the mantra that is spinning or the lotus also?
No, the lotus is not spinning. The inner 6 petals,
Okay.
which have the colors with the syllables of the mantra on them, that's turning. It's not spinning fast. It's just turning at the rate you're saying the mantra, so fast or slow, you might be saying it either way. But each one of those colors relates to one of the 5 poisons, relates to one of the 6 realms. So doing this softens your negative emotions. Some people have a lot of trouble working with their own negativity, their anger, their jealousy, their fear, their avarice, their sloth, their depression. This doesn't take it away, it just softens it as a side effect. It's also very useful for making babies go to sleep when they're cranky. We use it like that a lot. Other questions?
About the clear light, the rate light that you mentioned, they are made of clear light. Can you elaborate between the relation of the mantra you say about the cosmic surrounded and sentient beings?
I don't understand your
You
question.
say the clear light is rays of light.
It starts out as rays of light, but there's so many of them. Enough rays together become solid. But of course, light can never be solid. Is that your question?
Yeah, this clear light is the nature of mind,
Yes.
creating the universe, creating sentient beings. That's what you mean?
Yes. So not creating so much. If you look at your own mind, without making it all complex by thinking about it, but just directly perceive Simgasemta, mind looking. It is infinite and vast, Longchenrabjam. It is also bright, lucid, and luminous. It can think. It has the potential of thinking. This is the innate vitality of open awareness, the awareness of open awareness. Its infinite vastness we refer to by the word chuku, describing that quality of it. When we speak about its vitality, its aliveness, we call it lonku. That refers to that aspect of mind, the vitality, the awareness of it. When we speak of its creativity, the creative aspect of it, which arises as all phenomena in mind as mind dissolving in mind, we call it truku. Chuku, lonku, truku together, because they're not separate, they're just describing different qualities of the same thing, which cannot be separated. Together we call it dharmata. In Sanskrit, svabhavakaya. So the clear light is the symbol, light. The seer sees because there is light. Rigpa, awareness, means the seer, literally, seer, rigpa. So the rigpa is aware. The symbol of that awake awareness is light, by which the seer sees. Without light, the seer sees nothing. Without the clear light nature of infinite openness, there's no awareness. And obviously there is, because look, you're aware. If I hit you, you say, ouch. You have feelings, you have creativity. And the shimmer of that light, its sparkle, its creativity, arises as all and everything, inner and outer phenomena. Inner phenomena, thoughts and feelings. Outer phenomena, stuff. You see? Does that answer your question? So instead of trying to explain it in this practice, we're just sticking all the symbols of it there so that it won't trip over your conscious mind. And your conscious mind won't trip over it because there's no intellectual explanations. I gave you one to pacify you. It goes under the conscious. The symbols talk to your dream time, your dream self, your unconscious, and percolate up through there, so you don't get a chance to argue with it. Method. Are there other questions?
How often would you do this practice?
Every day. Recommended. But if I'm not giving you any damsig. So if you don't get to it one day, nothing bad happens. You just maybe, if you don't get to it for a lot of days, forget how. Other questions?
I have a question. If the visualization is more important than the words, or they are equally important?
Equally important.
So they go together while you are doing
They
it?
do.
Not just to say the mantra and the mind wanders and you just bring it back to the visualization.
You know, there is some benefit in saying the mantra even while the mind wanders.
Okay.
But not as much benefit as including the visualization. Mikpa. Ngak chikchigyuna pintori yena yang ngak dang mikpa nika yuri pintog pe chembo drogeri. De korangi drisari ngalap song. Other questions on this?
When you're doing the mani wheels, is there a similar, can you do a similar
Yes.
visualization?
Yes, you can. That's just a lot of manis in writing going around all at once. And they do it on microfilm nowadays, so it's really a lot. Or you can walk around the Guru Rinpoche over there and turn the mani wheels. Or around the Nyingma Gompa and turn them. There's many places where you can do this. And all of that just intensifies it some. Other questions?
In relation to the wheel, is it still white light flinging off the wheel?
What wheel?
The mani wheel?
Oh, don't worry about that. It works by itself.
Okay.
You don't have to visualize at it. You just do the visualization I taught you. Just like you don't have to visualize anything about your mantra. But if you hold your mantra in your hand while you do this, hold your mala. While you do it, move the beads while you do it. Later in your life, when the shit hits the fan, because it always does eventually, and you're totally freaked out, grab your mala. The energy is in it. You've stored the energy of this. It will help you at that time. That's why malas. Do you all have a mala? Last check. Anybody need a mala? Okay, we're good then. Ah. Hola, so pepsho. Di na lola mani riburi. Jawa rinpoche dang korangi trapa kazosong.
Merci. What did you know?
When you're done with this practice at the end, always remember to share the benefit. This world at this moment in time is somewhat lacking in gewa. You can tell that because of the mess it's in. Add gewa to the pot. Gewandi nyurduda chi chi sa.